Wonderful, and that jazzy little Hogue music coming to an end. That means you are here at Industry Exchange, guys. So welcome to the first Industry Exchange of 2019. This is where we go live on Instagram with industry professionals the last Tuesday of each month, and it's to give you, the emerging artist, the knowledge that you need. We discuss the topics that you want to know about, and today we're actually honing in on social media for artists. So if you are wanting to know anything about social media, marketing, branding, you want to be here. This is the right spot for you. So we're actually joined by Kaila Yu. Welcome, Kaila. She is a bona fide rock star, influencer, blogger, business owner. You name it, she is doing it and has done it. She has a vast knowledge, of course, of marketing and branding. You can check out her beautifully curated Instagram feed. So if you need some inspiration, head over to Nylon Pink. You can, of course, she's traveling everywhere with her lifestyle blog. Nylonpink.tv is where you can check that out. And we were talking a little bit earlier about her being a foodie. So if you are a foodie, check out nomlist.com. You can be inspired to, fill that tummy up with all the good things that are out there. So what made you start blogging and putting your life on social media?
Well, I've been around since the MySpace days, not to age myself, but I think growing up, it was just like MySpace was getting huge. Everybody was on there.
Yeah.
And during that period of time, I had kind of gained a following. So then I just kind of transitioned that. And I pursued a music career for a while.
Yeah.
And then actually I gave that up maybe like 5 years ago or less. And blogging was just kind of the transition. We were lost for a little while. We were like, what do we do with our lives?
How do I turn this into something? Okay.
Yeah. So we transitioned the music blog into a lifestyle travel blog. And it kind of happened a little bit organically because as a band, we were touring kind of around the world.
Yeah.
And it turned out that I hate performing live and I love traveling. And now I can travel and not have to perform.
That's amazing.
I don't have to sing for my supper anymore.
It works out.
Yeah.
So is that how you kind of learned what you know about personal marketing and branding, like through that experience, or did you have a background in it?
I guess I didn't have any kind of professional background in marketing and PR, but yeah, through the band and having to not be able to afford a publicist and everything else, we had to do all the calls and all the marketing ourselves.
What accomplishments are you most proud of then up until this point?
I think band-wise, it was collaborating with the Hard Rock hotels, and then we had a residency in Macau and Indonesia. That was really, really exciting, and we got to really fall in love with Macau. With social media and marketing, I think my most recent, proud thing is that I've been producing an event called BlushCon, which is a beauty convention kind of more focused on Asian beauty brands, because K-beauty is so hot right now.
Very hot.
Yeah.
Everyone's got the face masks and all the skincare. We all know what that is.
Yeah, face masks are like the norm now.
Yeah, that's like, yeah. So that was just like this weekend or last weekend or something?
Actually 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
I think
okay.
It was. I can't even.
Yeah, I had found out about that. I didn't realize that you produced that, so that's very neat. Roommate is a makeup artist, and she was kind of telling me about it, and so that's really cool that you've kind of gone into that sphere of things.
Yeah, because the blog that we had not only covers travel, but it kind of talks about beauty from around the world.
Yeah.
So as we encounter different beauty standards, because they vary so much.
Very
the
much.
Western beauty influences so much with our film and TV, but still you go to different countries and you're like, wow, they find elongated necks attractive, or like big lip plates, and it's like baffling and so interesting to find how these standards came to be. So long story short, we were talking about Korean beauty, and then I do PR marketing for this events company, and that's how the K-beauty event kind of came about. Just like all these things,
Have your hands in so many pots, and sometimes
you have to in LA now, right? You can't just do one thing.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to really hone in and know your brand and have like the most up-to-date info on the social media marketing things, because it can get kind of crazy. So if you guys are just tuning in, we are speaking with influencer and social media expert Kaila Yu, and she is here to share tips, best practices, everything that you guys can apply so you can get the most out of your social media. If you guys would though, please be sure to share this live stream. We want you to creatively network with us. Hashtag raw artists, hashtag industry exchange. Got to get those hashtags in there, guys, remember. So whether someone is a painter or a fashion designer or a musician, we all know that having an online presence is super important, right? You have to be able to get your work out there. So an artist's social media account is often the first thing new fans encounter. It's often, what potential customers are seeing, what you post and what you don't post when you're dormant. So does that matter? Would you agree with that? Is that kind of like, the artist's social media account should be, what they're concentrating on?
Yes, but I'm going to add a caveat, which is that I so urge artists and influencers to create a website because, Instagram's going great right now, but MySpace disappeared overnight.
Yeah.
And all those people with followings, they were like, some of them could not transition and were literally not able to contact any of their followers anymore. No one sees that happening with Instagram right now, but it could. And we can already see like people are really unhappy about algorithms and engagement.
Yes.
So people are looking for the next platform to jump onto.
Yeah.
So yes, it's very important to have your Instagram and Twitter, etc. But you need to have a home base that is your blog or your website, where you can collect email addresses and be able to create your own content that you own. Because as you know, if you post something on Instagram, anyone can repost it. It's like, that's the legal thing that's written into
your whatever you
that
sign
you never
off
read.
on.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Those service things that you're logging and saying, sure, I agree with everything you're saying. so website, that's great advice. Would you even recommend, because some artists aren't writers, they don't want to, could it be something as simple like your Instagram feed, or what would you recommend that they're putting on there, I guess, if...
Well, if they're an artist, they could just post photos of their work, and probably you'd want to give a description of like how this, because people want to know the story, like how this work came to be, what inspired you to create this. I think a lot of this you can't really delve into on Instagram too much because there's a word limit, and who's really reading that much on Instagram anyways?
Yeah.
People are literally scrolling.
Just scrolling, liking. Yeah, and most certainly, especially if you know somebody already, you don't even think about it. You're just like, oh, okay,
you have like 3 seconds.
To catch their attention, and that's So what should artists decide about their brand then, before they start posting? What are some of the things they should get into?
I would say definitely find a cohesive brand before you start posting. I've made this mistake before, where I've had to be a band and suddenly be a travel person. And it's really confusing for the followers.
Yeah.
And it hurts your engagement because some of them are like, what is this? I am not interested in this at all.
Yeah.
And they'll unfollow you or just not interact with your new content. So you're able to pivot, it's doable.
Right.
But you'd rather not have that scenario, rather just go in and just, go straight for exactly what you're doing. So Instagram's all about, appearance. So your theme has to be cohesive, and every photo should just look like a photo from a spread in a magazine.
Okay.
So color scheme wise, it should all kind of match. And there's different, apps and tools you can do to make that cohesive. But it's just important that you're consistent, because when a follower comes and views it and it's not cohesive, they'll unlikely keep following you.
Yeah. So. The magazine quality type content, does that perform best, or does that kind of depend on the artist? What kind of content is usually performing best?
Well, it's not necessarily that it needs to look like it's from a magazine, but it should just look like a spread.
Yeah. It's very nicely curated. When you're looking at it, you're not like, oh.
It shouldn't be like you post all black and white content and suddenly you're throwing color content in there with no,
thought of why
am I doing
how am I
this?
going from this to this? Okay, that makes sense. So what other types of content do you think are performing better?
Well, I think it's important to invest time in Instagram stories because that's where you can go wild and do whatever you like.
Yeah.
That's where you can talk to your audience and tell a story in a different way. So I like DJ Khaled, or is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
He has built his entire following off Snapchat, which is now Instagram stories have stolen.
Basically, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So I would invest, okay, so for the basic feed, I would post, decide what you're gonna post. Are you gonna post lots of behind the scenes stuff? Are you gonna post lots of art? It should decide what you're gonna do there. And then I think typically people decide to post like their art.
Yeah.
And then they'll do behind the scenes on the creation of the work or just a day in the life or whatever on the stories.
Yeah. Okay. Really smart. So as far as like, building that following, you've kind of got the content down. Are there any tips that you can, offer on building a following and really connecting with those fans?
I think building your following is all about collaborating. So you're probably not going to collaborate with a 1 million following person, right? So find people who are in similar followings as you. Like if you have 1,000 followers, find another artist who you love with 1,000 followers, photographer, makeup artist, whatever, to collaborate with. Collaborate, tag each other. Find brands. Brands are working with micro-influencers more and more now.
Yes, they are.
So look at the brands, look at other micro-influencers that are collaborating with brands, look for, reach out to those brands. And those brands are also looking for free content.
Yeah.
So if you're creating amazing content from this brand, the chances of them reposting it is probably pretty likely. And that's, new followers, new eyeballs in your work.
Okay, those are a great couple of tips. We have some questions from the audience. Thank you guys for writing in. We love this stuff. So is there such a thing as too much presence or doing/sharing too much? Interesting. Okay.
Absolutely on Instagram. As you know, best practices is post once, maybe twice a day if people really, really love your content.
Yeah.
On your Instagram stories, you can post as much as you want, but you should feel it out and be like, okay, am I posting 10 stories? People stop watching.
Yeah.
So it's like different for every person. But, and it's different for each platform. On Twitter, you could probably post as much as you like.
Yeah.
So I guess mostly everyone's focused on Instagram. So once a day at the most, but also try to stay consistent with that. Don't post once a day for a week and then like disappear.
Off of. Okay, so one last question to kind of piggyback off that. When trying to go viral, what should people include or take into consideration?
There was this went viral in the makeup world. This brand that I was working with, that movie with Lady Gaga and...
Oh, Bradley Cooper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which name totally escapes
Star is
me.
Born.
Star is Born, yeah. So there's this scene where she's like removing her eyebrow in front of Bradley Cooper and it's like really intimate. So I think there was a whole series of makeup videos where people were like recreating that. So that's like newsjacking.
Yeah.
And some of those videos went viral.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Yeah. And also just watching like, oh, something went viral, like let me jump on that and make a video that's similar but has my own take on it.
Yeah, it's kind of like when the one person did that dance video, the Drake Kiki, do you love me? And they're in the car, it's like, oh, and then one person did, and then before you know it, it's like, yeah, you kind of have to jump on a bandwagon of sorts.
Yeah, you gotta drop everything and jump on that, because that stuff lasts for 1 second.
Exactly, that train's moving fast. So, and I feel like Twitter is a pretty good space, or I feel like that's done a lot there, where stories are getting retweeted and shared and things like that. This is an own personal question. This is nowhere on there. Where are you on Facebook situation? Like,
Facebook.
Are you trying to slowly just like get out of there? Because I mean, it's, I don't know.
Facebook, my engagement is like below 0.001%.
Yeah, right.
There is no engagement happening.
Yeah.
I keep it just, mostly to talk to my friends, honestly.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing about Facebook. Facebook ads is a beast. If you can figure that out, you can, this goes back to collecting emails and all of this. Facebook ads are so amazing because you can target deep, like so deep. You could take an audience, like say you play a show and you collect 20 email addresses, you can put that into Facebook ads, and then you can tell Facebook, okay, create 100 more people like these 20 people, copycat audiences.
Yeah.
So, and then you can test that Facebook ad and see who responds and be like, Facebook, make 100 more of these people that responded to that. This is a whole nother topic.
Lookalike audiences are like their own thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, but yeah, I would say that like most people go on Facebook like for events, to find out about different events, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe Facebook groups. I don't know.
Facebook groups are still really amazing.
Yeah.
So if you want to build a community, Facebook groups are still really highly engaged and a great way, to speak to people.
Yeah, awesome. That was just, sorry to get sidetracked there. That was just my own personal question that I wondered about. So, you talk about these lookalike audiences, collecting email addresses. What do you feel are your must-have tools for editing photos or managing posts? Maybe capturing or keeping track of analytics or things like that?
Yeah, so for scheduling, I like to use a tool called Planoly, which is super awesome. And for video editing, this video tool called Filmora. It's a desktop, not on mobile, but it is killer because I do not know how to video edit. I mean, I tried, I've learned a little bit of Premiere, but it's just way too much work.
Right, let an expert do it, right?
Yeah, but this Filmora makes you like near expert. You could just drag and drop different things
Little
and effects
clips.
in. Yeah,
Okay.
And it makes it so easy just to edit clips. So if you're doing anything, I use it for Instagram videos or YouTube videos.
Awesome.
So that's a killer one. Okay. Kiki is my best friend that I do the blog with and everything. She edits my photos for me, luckily, because she's a master. But I know she would recommend Lightroom. That's what she uses to get everything consistent and have that magazine cohesive quality.
Yeah.
I personally don't know how to use it, but she says it's super easy.
Yeah, Lightroom is it's similar in the sense of like I have no expertise, but the app is pretty easy and very user friendly. So yeah, I would recommend Lightroom. Yeah, we'll have all of this information for you guys written afterwards. Planoly, that's Planoly. .com. You can check that out. That's a great scheduling app as well. So, so as a successful musician, influencer, woman of the world, and of course, Hello Drama PR, which turned into all these other things. You have a lot of experience with social media and just kind of a wealth of information to offer artists. So I appreciate you being here. But what are you mentioned mistake earlier. What are some maybe avoidable mistakes people make when promoting their own professional brand?
So important, I think, to do these things, but put your own spin on it, or else it's 100 people doing the same thing, and why do they want to look at yours versus the original?
Yeah.
It's like the follow me away thing that everyone was doing.
She's holding her hand back, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the person who created that, you want to be that person.
Yeah. You want to just kind of be original with that stuff. Yeah, being yourself is definitely important. Like you said, you can jump on that bandwagon, but how is your voice going to kind of be different? So really defining that voice. We have a question from the audience. What was your best social media post/campaign and why? Interesting, that's a great question.
Actually, the one that we were most excited about, we work with the sunscreen brand called Coats.
Oh, okay.
So we went to Peru for the campaign, and we'd never been before, so we went to the typical Machu Picchu and all those places.
Yeah.
But we pitched the brand like, sunscreen, you obviously need it for visiting Machu Picchu.
I mean, you talk about somebody who needs sunscreen, that's this girl, so yeah.
Yeah, so we found a relevant brand that fit with what we were kind of the imagery we knew that we were going to capture.
Yeah.
And we were really excited about some of the content that we created, and I think the brand, I hope, was really happy too.
Yeah. Do you, in that sort of situation, does the brand often just kind of, obviously they're working with you because as an influencer, you have the aesthetic and you kind of have the vibe that they like, but is it a collaborative effort? Do you often find that? Or is it mostly like, no, just like do this and that's it?
I think it's best usually when the brand's more hands-off.
Okay.
Because I have worked with brands who are like, do this, do this, do this. And I'm like, that's not authentic.
Yeah.
And the like wording's really weird and awkward.
Yeah.
And you have to trust that the person you're hiring to create content knows how to create content that resonates with their audience.
Yeah.
So you should be looking for somebody you trust in the first place.
Okay, that's another good note is like if you are looking to partner with somebody, you know, it doesn't have to just be for, you know, like, to partner with somebody and have that under your belt. Like, make sure it's like a beneficial,
should be a good fit.
Yeah, it should be a good fit of a relationship. Okay, so doing well on social media, like what accounts are you following for inspiration?
Well, I follow a lot of travel accounts.
Travels, yes.
So there's a girl called Travel in Her Shoes.
Okay.
There's a lot of controversy about her recently.
Oh.
But her feed is beautiful,
Okay.
like so well curated, and I think really tells a story. There's another girl called Gypsy Lust that also does a really good job. Brands-wise, I love Wendy's on Twitter because they're so snarky
They are.
just like having a personality.
Yeah.
And a lot of brands aren't doing that because they're being corporate and safe.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love KFC. It's a lot of fast food. I love fast food.
Foodie
I
and
do
a
like
travel
fast
hound.
food.
Yes.
I like high and low cuisine.
Hey, you have to have it all. You know what I'm saying? You have to have it all.
Yeah. But they did a really fun campaign where they came out with like Christmas onesies and stuff, and they were getting people.
How
and
funny.
Yeah. So I like brands who have fun.
Yeah, that's important, right? You can't, you know, kind of get stuck in your ways because also your audience is growing and changing and you have to kind of be able to grow and change with them, right? Man, you're getting so many questions from the audience. This is amazing. Thank you guys, by the way, hashtag industry exchange, hashtag raw artists for those questions. Really appreciate them coming in. What should I do to prep to maximize the impact of dropping a new song? Interesting.
Okay, so I can kind of give an example of what we did specifically, but it was a little newsjacking related. But when we released a song so many years ago, K-pop was really taking off. So K-pop, if you haven't heard, it's really bubbly. It's like hyper pop, like Britney Spears on steroids. And it's super catchy. And we're like a rock band, like with real instruments and everything.
They jam for sure. This is true.
We came and did like an all-girl cover, like hard version of these. Not hard, but like way harder version. And those videos went a little bit viral.
Okay.
So I would say, see how you can get your song kind of related to something that's happening right now, whether you're probably not doing a cover song, so this may not relate directly, but it may be good to do a cover song of something relevant to build up the buzz prior to your release and get people kind of talking. But you shouldn't just drop a song. It should be like a 1 month, 2 month campaign of hyping, like, I'm releasing this song. This is the story behind the song. This is like a teaser of the music video we're shooting. It should be like a whole campaign.
Yeah, no, I was actually reading an article recently about Ariana Grande and the campaign for, I think it was the Thank You Next song. And it was, I mean, all very similar. It's like you need to have a before, a beginning, a middle, and an after. And you have to think about that, of the through line of every little thing.
Yeah, that song dropped in my office. And all the millennials, they stopped everything. And they're like, we have to watch this right now.
Yes, we can all, I guess, take a lesson from all the money she's paying her marketing and PR people. Another question from the audience. Advice for contacting brands to collab with. Okay.
I have lots of advice here. So it's a numbers game. So people feel like, I contacted 5 brands and they said no. No, we contacted like 100 or 200 brands to get that Coats campaign.
Oh, wow.
And look for other people of similar followings who they're working with. Those are good brands to contact. And get on the phone, because nobody
calls anybody anymore.
Yeah, they will be impressed. I know that's kind of scary, and I kind of gained that courage from Raw.
Yes.
We did a lot of calls back in the day.
Very much.
So I have absolutely no fear of getting on the phone, as long as I have a script. I don't like to wing it, but just get on the phone, tell them why. Oh, also don't just be like, hey, I create this awesome content, let's collaborate. Like, have a pitch. Say, I see that you're working on, Coats is coming out with new packaging. And I sent them a pitch saying Pantone's color of the year is coral. That's your color. And then let's tie this in and promote different destinations with a coral look. So come up with a unique pitch. They'll be wowed because nobody is doing that. Everyone's just saying, hey, I have 20,000 followers, collaborate with me.
No, that's super smart. You want to sound like, oh, I kind of have
really
my shit together.
They want to feel like you are really passionate about their brand and you really thought about, the story you can tell.
No, that's perfect, because that's, again, how you're going to become an influencer. You know what I mean? I think that can kind of start that. And that is a question from the audience. How do you become an influencer? I feel like that's such a very broad question, right?
Well, I think anyone can be an influencer. If you influence one person, you're an influencer. But so mostly, I think the question is more, how do you become a bigger influencer?
How do you get paid?
How do you get paid? Well, it's so easy to create amazing content these days. You can do it from your iPhone. So as an influencer, first of all, you need to create amazing killer content, but also, who are you? Everybody has something to say. Everyone has people who relate to them. I think really finding out who you are and then being proud about that and being inspirational, talking about your struggles. I think that's really popular right now. Everyone's just all out about oh, I suffer from this and that. And,
very much.
We didn't have that really growing up. I think everyone doesn't talk about their flaws. So I think taking your true self, taking your flaws, embracing it, and seeing how you can help other people. That's kind of a big answer to that.
That's I mean, that's so true, is right. And it all comes back to is what you were saying, is being authentic, being yourself. All of those things, you kind of have to, bleed it into everything. The last question from the audience that we'll take, how to handle trolls.
I love this question. Okay, we're gonna go back to when I was in the band and we came out with our first video and we had a lot of makeup on, and they don't wear a lot of makeup in Korea. And everybody was like, those are men, those are lady boys. And we were like, I thought it was hilarious. But some of my bandmates were really traumatized.
They were like,
we don't look like men. But okay, the answer, you just have to not care. I mean, at the end of the day, the person saying we look like men was probably 12 years old. You know what I mean? And it's whatever, who cares? I don't care if somebody thinks I look like a man. You just have to not care. And I know that's easier said than done, but I will just say to myself sometimes, who cares what anybody thinks? And I think that's the way to be an influencer, because people are inspired. Everyone cares. We're in a society where we care so much about what other people think, and Instagram fosters that. But if you can be someone who doesn't and just speaks whatever you believe despite how unpopular it might be, I think that's the first steps towards being an influencer.
That's gonna set you apart. And at the end of the day, that person bothered to comment on it. So
it actually caused a lot of controversy. And people argued they're not men, we know. And there's a whole discussion.
So thank you, person who trolled me. So any final words for emerging artists and creatives out there? Just any last minute things you want to share with them?
I think just get started today. So I said this whole thing about creating your brand and making sure, but don't spend that much time on that. Just get started, try things. If you start an account and it totally fails, you can start another account. But stop waiting until the right time. Just do it, fall on your face,
Better done than perfect, right? I mean, just why not? So Kaila, thank you so much for coming out. It was so great. I haven't seen this woman in years, but she's still as gorgeous as ever. So I don't know what she's talking about MySpace age, but still, thank you so much again for just sharing what the knowledge you've absorbed after all of these years with social media. And thank you to all the artists for watching. We really appreciate you guys. All your questions, they're amazing. I can't wait to go home and test out some of your tips. Learning is always the best possible thing that you can do out there, guys. Make sure you tune in next month, though, February 26th. Mark that date on your calendar, because that's when we're going to be back here with Industry Exchange. We're going to go live again, same time, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard. Obviously, if you're following us live, you do follow Raw Artists, but make sure you tag some new people in there. Share this with them. They need to know. So tag some new friends at Raw Artists for all the updates and reminders. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in and watching, and we'll see you next month. Bye.